A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Giant. Cooler and I'm flyer too. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the 95 North Sports Machine. I am Chris Tipmore. You already know, and I'm coming from A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cooler and flyer too. And you know, I got my main man, my road dog, Jesse James, Smitty Sports Machine with me, man. Holla at the folks, Smitty.
Hey man, you know what time it is, man. We always coming up with these crazy ideas, crazy topics. But guess what? After we talk about them, it's gonna make a whole lot of sense. Because for some strange reason, I got some feeling something crazy gonna happen during the NFL draft. Haven't felt that way in a long time, but I feel like something crazy is gonna go down at the draft this year, and we're gonna be here to talk about it. And we ain't gonna say I told you so, but you know, we're gonna say we had an idea that something was gonna happen, but let's get this thing rolling, man.
Indeed, man. This show right here, I just had an idea about what team could possibly mess up, shake up, screw up, however you want to look at the NFL draft in the top 10. And we have to look at some of these draft picks and what they're going for with the draft order. Of course, we already know the Bears. They have 2 in the top 10. We also know the Commanders, Pats, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, our beloved Falcons, and the Jets all round out the top 10 of this year's 2024 NFL draft. So, with none of the further ado, Smitty, I would like to know, in your expert opinion, because I got some ideas too, and we're going to start from the top with the Chicago Bears. What do you think these Bears could possibly do? Do you see them sitting tight, or do you see them possibly shaking up this NFL draft?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, bro. 90%, I think they're gonna stay put and take Caleb Williams, but there's a slim chance the Washington Commanders could find a way to slide up to that first spot because they took Caleb. They hired Caleb Williams, old QB coach, offensive coordinator, whatever you want to call him in Washington, and they were gearing up to make a run for Caleb Williams. So there's still a slim chance, a very slim chance that could happen. But if that does happen, who would the Bears take at number 2? I think Jaden Daniels. I think if you look at Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, I think they're 1A and 1B when it comes to quarterback. So they really wouldn't be missing out on that. And think about it, as we talked about before, they only have 4 draft picks in Chicago. So if you move back just one spot, you could probably get that spot, a second or fourth, and maybe picks next year. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And I know we have a point scale when it comes to the draft, but some things you just have to throw out the window. If you only have 4 picks and you're able to pick up another 2 to 3 picks this draft, and you still had a number 9 pick, you could possibly trade that pick as well. So the Chicago Bears, they can shake up the whole draft with picks 1 and picks number 9.
Well, indeed. You only have 4 draft picks, just like you said. Those 4 draft picks are also within the top 50, and that's kind of like the range that we're going with this top 10 as well. As many draft picks as these teams have in the top 150. But with the Bears, for me, I do believe
wouldn't that be crazy though? If they only have 1 day of draft picks and that's it. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's been quite some time. That's something I'll have to definitely look up in the database to see when the last time something like that happened. But with these Bears,
if I had to say so, I think it was New Orleans Saints. I think it was the New Orleans Saints when they traded for Ricky Williams. That's the only other time that I can think about.
Yeah. That's the only other thing that's really like comes to my mind as well. But just to make sure, I definitely would have to fact check on that. But with the Bears, for me, man, I believe that Caleb is definitely going to Chicago at this point. I definitely believe he's going to Chicago. And as far as that number 9, I think if they do make a trade, that's the trade. That's the pick that they trade, should I say? Because with the number 9, somebody could possibly move up if they want to. You never know who's going to be there at 9. Somebody's desperate enough. You may possibly see somebody come from the teens or even the 20s that want to slide up to number 9. Chicago, they're going to pick up the phone. As we just said, they only have 4 draft picks total, and they're all in the top 150. So you want to get more picks. You want to try to trade back because they've been trading up and back the last couple of years, dating back to 2021. So this is a team that possibly could shake up the draft in that aspect, but I definitely feel like number 1 is going to be Caleb Williams. And you did mention the Commanders, and that's the next team that we want to talk about. The Commanders, man, it's interesting. They don't have the most in the top 150, but the Commanders have 7 picks within the top 150. And that's a team that could do anything that they want to do. They can move back. They can they can have things for next year. The landscape for them is just open, completely open. So 7 picks in the first 150, guys. Like, that's a lot. They could take their quarterback, but they necessarily
and
don't
I could see.
Go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, I could see the New York Giants or the Chargers trading up to Washington spot
to number 2
to go get a quarterback. And we talk about the 3 teams that's outside the top 10. What about the team that's inside the top 10 that need a quarterback? We can see them move up the board, and they said we'll risk a year or 2 just to go get our guy at quarterback. Jim Harbaugh, he has Justin Herbert, so he don't have to worry about that.
He doesn't.
Arizona, they have a quarterback. But the New York Giants, where you start looking and say, well, they're not going to keep Daniel Jones long term. I think they signed Drew Lock. And
yeah, Lock
are
is
those
supposed
guys
to have
really viable starters in this league? So, So, as I think about it, long term, they could possibly trade Daniel Jones to somebody, eat up that dead cap space, and go get their quarterback of the future. I think it's a strong possibility at this point. So with Washington, could they trade back a couple of spots and possibly still get a quarterback? Because like we've been talking about the last 2 weeks, Michael Penix's name is heating up. So with his name heating up,
very
could
much
that be a viable spot for Michael Penix? If the New York Giants want to move up and they say, hell, Penix will be there, we'll just get him Daniels and we'll let Drake May go to the Patriots. But Michael Penix will still be on the board at number 6 because I think with the Cardinals, they would probably trade with the Vikings or the Broncos, and J.J. McCarthy would be a pick for both of those teams. So
never know. Vikings could come up with 2.
Something interesting to think about, man.
Vikings could come up to 2.
Right.
They really could if they like a guy that much to where they were like, hey, man, you can have 11 and 23. And for a team like the Commanders, it's all good for them because around 11, a guy that they have brought in today, the Commanders are having 4 quarterbacks in today. Penix, McCarthy, Daniels, and Drake May, all in at the same time. Right. So if they like Penix that much, they could trade back, get 11 and 23, have more picks, still get a quarterback, and go get another player in the first round as well. That's another option for a team that has 7 within the top 150. And it's just another option for those guys to go. You never know where Dan Quinn and those guys are going to go. It's options. And right now, everybody is meeting with everybody.
Right. And our boy Berto, he brought up a great point. He talked about Washington a couple of weeks ago and possibly they shaking up the draft anyway. He thought about a guy like Dallas Turner, a defensive end, because we know they lost Montez Sweat and Chase Young. So they definitely have to have a defensive end. And could they possibly say, hey, we could trade back, go get a Dallas Turner, go get a Jared Verse, go get a Latu Latu to come in with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. So, Washington, they had just so many options, man. And it wouldn't surprise me if they moved back.
Right. It definitely wouldn't surprise us at all. Before we get into the next team, into the next topic and everything, just wanted to give a shout out to the chat. There are people who's in here on this Tuesday afternoon. We got Austin Douglas. Shout out to you. What's good, fellas? That boy Michael Smitty and A1. Shout out to you. Who else we got in
No
here?
doubt.
Jamal D. What it do? What it do? Who else in here today? 3 Dirty. What's going on, man? What it do? What it do, homie?
North
Yeah, he said
Carolina
the
in the
number
house
8 pick, very viable. We got in here Mr. CDXX for life.
with the
What it do?
CDX.
Who else is in here? Okay, J Black, 14
J
or
Black.
142. What it do? What it do, man? Yeah, man. Y'all come on in here, man. We just having a little chat, talking about who could shake up this NFL draft. You already know how it goes down. Teams do it every year, man, shaking up this draft. And the Commanders, they have a lot of different options that they can go to, as well as this next team, the New England Patriots. Somebody that notoriously don't mind moving back or taking the lesser guy and everything. And they have 5 picks within the top 150. So 5 picks within the top 150. They said before that they're open to
And they
moving out of
rebuilding.
that number 3 spot. They're rebuilding. So they will actually be looking for more picks. And that's something that kind of like goes with their DNA and the makeup of their whole franchise. They don't mind letting you come up and get whoever you want, and they'll go find some other people. I know those were back with the Belichick days. This is a new day, a new era in the New England Patriots franchise organization, however. And we're going to see what Gerard Mayo is going to be looking to do, head coach Gerard Mayo. We're going to see what he wants to do. But 5 picks within the top 150. If I had to make a guess, I would say that they would take a quarterback, but New England is so sneaky, man. You know, those guys, they could possibly take a different player and wait for one of their second rounds to possibly drop a quarterback. Now, that's risky, but it's something that the Patriots is kind of what like the Patriot way or whatnot. Hey, I'm gonna let you come up, take some of your draft picks, get more draft capital, and then next thing you know, they have guys that we never even heard of, but they're producing in that system.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And as I'm looking at Minnesota, if they gave you the number 11 pick and the number 23 pick, you got to go for it. And to be honest, Drake May could be a New England style quarterback, but I'm looking at a guy like a Bo Nix later in the draft that I think fits the Patriot way just a little bit more than Drake May does, even more than Jaden Daniels. And they love Jaden Daniels, I think, in New England. With Gerard Mayo, I think he's going to take a page out of Bill Belichick's book in the way he approaches the draft, with getting capital, trading back, picking high impact players. And we all know they dig deep in New England. They can go find a guy in Division 3 that can come in, play right away. And this is why draft capital, when Bill Belichick was coach, he'd have a first round pick. He would trade that first round pick, get in the second round, and end up getting 3 more picks for that 1 pick. So we can still see that because, like I said, Minnesota chooses to go up to number 3. And what I'm hearing is JJ McCarthy is their guy.
Right.
It could possibly be him, and it could possibly be Drake May. Who knows? Either one of those guys. But one thing I do know for sure, if they do stay there, they're going to take a quarterback. And, you know, I would hate for anybody to pass on Marvin Harrison. But with no Tom Brady, Matt Jones going to Jacksonville, quarterback is the only option they have unless they're looking at
possibly an option
Bo
later
or
on.
what's the guy from Tulane? Chris Platt, somebody
Pratt.
like that.
Michael Pratt.
So
or
Michael
even
Pratt,
Spencer Rattler. Don't even rule out Spencer Rattler too. If they want to go, you know what I'm saying, if they want to go with a pocket passer who can still get the ball down the field, strong arm, decent decision maker, you know, just need some weapons around them, they possibly can go that route as well. And if they possibly take a wide receiver or offensive lineman, that will shake up the draft in its entirety right there. Because now it's so many options that's open. It's different options that's open. And I've been hearing so much about Drake May just falling and falling. He's been falling and falling, and JJ McCarthy has been rising and rising. Also, Michael Penix, just like you just said. So these teams, man, they're doing some due diligence.
I think it's going to be
with everybody.
Right, and the way the draft is moving right now, and the way the news is coming out the last 2 weeks, I
Mm-hmm.
think we could possibly have 5 quarterbacks in the top 10.
I think
And
so as
I just
well,
wouldn't
man.
rule that out. And if that's gonna happen, I could definitely see the Giants. I'm sorry, the Patriots going out of the top 10. Arizona Cardinals going out of the top 10. Both of those teams
Mm-hmm.
are rebuilding. And another team to look out for in the top 10, New York Giants with a quarterback. They could move up the
Right.
board. So who knows?
Yep. I believe the last time that 5 quarterbacks was taken in the top 10, I believe it was 2018 or was it 2020, something like that. And then I know, shoot, even quarterbacks taken in the top
Somewhere in there.
five. Yeah, yeah, even quarterbacks taken in the top five. You got 21, 23, what, 70, 99, something like that. And then, so you already know recently
And,
2021,
and
1999, and 71 for quarterbacks in the top three, which it will be quarterbacks in the top five
and the
again,
crazy
at least
thing
by 4 or
is, we know it's a crapshoot because we look at the 2020 class
5.
right now, and I mean, damn near every quarterback is on another team right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking
I
about,
think it's only
boy,
one quarterback. So you know,
that's Trevor Lawrence.
if you make
Trevor
any
Lawrence, the
decision,
only
you
one.
better be damn sure that the only one. And so you better be damn sure that you can that you got the right guy, because you don't want to end up like the 49ers, the Bears, wasted draft
Hmm.
picks basically. The
Right.
Jets with Zach Wilson. So man, look, it's crazy. But look at number 4. I think
The
it's safe to
Cardinals,
say if
man.
they stay there, it's Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison. Yeah, it's
Dog,
either
but the Cardinals,
Malik Harrison or Marvin Harrison Jr.
bro, the Cardinals are like one of my favorite teams to possibly shake up the draft. But just because they need everything outside of a quarterback, they need
Right,
everything. And they have the most picks in the well, as far as these top 10 teams, they have the most within the top 150. They have 8 picks within the top 150 selections. They could move
right,
around. People can come up. The Cardinals can go ahead and get more draft capital. If they just go ahead and make maybe a trade with the Minnesota Vikings, get that 11 and that 23. You got 2 first rounders for 1 now, and you need everything. So you can still get wide receiver. This draft right here is wide receiver, cornerback, and offensive line heavy. So you can still have options to
right,
move around. That's what makes the Cardinals and the Chargers, I believe, good candidates, as the Chargers have 6 picks within the top 150. And
right,
this is a time where everybody is meeting up with everybody. This is a time where teams are just trying to do their due diligence to see if they like a guy, how much they like a guy. And I've seen pictures of Latu, and we're doing due diligence and having meetings and taking pictures with Jim Harbaugh out there in LA with the Chargers. It's
right,
a possibility they could take him there. Why? Because it's such a deep draft of wide receiver, even though they need him. Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're crazy if you trade away from Neighbors and Harrison and Adunze if I'm the Chargers. But are you really in this deep wide receiver draft when you can possibly go get guys in the second round, in the third round, or depending on what kind of draft capital you get for your first round, you can still go get guys because it's a deep wide receiver draft.
right,
And thinking about it from a long, thinking playing the long game, you necessarily don't have to pay those first round picks, you know, I'm saying, those big money like that. You possibly can have those second and third round guys, see what they possibly can do, maybe give them a little less. And hey, it's better from the organization standpoint. It just all depends on what the front office is thinking about doing. But you definitely don't have to take any of these guys necessarily within the first couple of picks, with so many draft picks still left to go within the top 150. You know, that's just my thoughts.
absolutely. Hey,
Even the next
that's a great thought.
go ahead.
And you talk about Latu. I thought about that as well, because I'm looking at Khalil Mack at 33 years old. This probably his last year there. You talk about Joey Bosa on the other end of him. To be honest, his injury history may end his career early. Who knows? So they may move on from him at the end of this season, depending on what the dead cap space is. So you go get a Letu Latu or a Dallas Turner or Jared Verse to come in and back up those guys and get into the rotation. And who knows? One of those guys could be traded at the deadline. So
Right.
I think edge makes sense here, and this is why they could shake up the draft. Like you said, they need a receiver, and passing up
Mm-hmm.
on Harrison or Neighbors sounds silly, but
That'd
at
be
the end of
crazy.
the day, wide receiver is another deep position that
Mm-hmm.
you can possibly get later in this draft. You talk about Xavier Legette from South Carolina in the second round, Xavier Worthy
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom of the first round, Donnie Mitchell from
Brian
Texas.
Thomas Jr.
So there are receivers in this Troy Franklin. I can just keep
Right.
going. So
Yeah, we can
I
really
mean, it's a lot
can.
of receivers in this draft. So yeah, so they don't have to reach for a receiver. Nobody does really have to reach for a receiver. That's just like the
At
fact that they
all.
want to go get one more receiver to shore up this offensive wide receiver room. There's a Lad McConkey in the second, third round. So
Mm.
look, man, it's Chargers and Cardinals. They may be the top two teams to shake up this top 10.
Those two positions right there are really interesting, especially with teams like the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Raiders, who all possibly may try to move up for quarterbacks. Those two positions are very tantalizing for any team,
Yeah,
and I would pick
it's
up the
gonna be an
phone every
auction.
time it rings. Yeah, I would pick up the
Yeah,
phone every time it rung just to see what at least the deal is. You got to at least see what the deal is. And real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our brother Berto, who was on Bleacher Report earlier, and I believe about over an hour ago. So y'all make sure y'all slide on over and give Berto some love
go
on
to
Bleacher
that
Report, man.
go to that community tab, and
Hmm.
you'll see whatever video he's on. His one, probably the first one that pops up. So
Right,
please go to Bleacher Report, man, and check out Berto. He's doing his thing over there, and
indeed,
trust me, he be have that community tab rocking, man. He did a mock draft last week,
he
and
did.
set the whole website on fire. So y'all,
Yes,
please
sir.
go check him out, man.
Indeed, and also shout out to our brother We Talk Hawks TV, our brother
Our boy
Demond, man,
Demond,
over there.
yeah,
Yes, sir,
please go
man. He
check
does
him
his
out,
thing.
man. He does post game, he does pre game, he does
Hmm.
in game.
Watch alongs,
So
all that.
right, so when the Hawks play the Bulls, y'all please go to We Talk Hawks TV because I know they're gonna have a pregame and a post game.
Hmm.
And trust me, he passionate about what he say because I saw him rip. I think it was Clint Capella about a week or two ago,
Yeah,
and he had
and
the
he
right to
deserved
do
it.
that. He
He
deserved it.
deserved it. Man, I'm trying to tell you some crazy stuff. Yeah, also plan on getting him on the channel as well. So stay tuned to that. Definitely plan on
No doubt.
linking up with We Talk Hawks TV. Great work over there, great people over
And
there,
one
great
thing,
channel.
while he watching, we definitely gonna talk about this Trey Young future in Atlanta because one thing about it, it's gonna be shaky. Trust me.
Yeah, to say the least. To say the least, it could be really shaky, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to all Falcons fans, all Atlanta sports fans, whether you're fans of the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons, Atlanta United, Bulldogs. The list just goes on and on. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. The next team is also pretty interesting for different reasons, and that is the New York Giants, who are sitting at number 6. They have only 4 picks within the top 150. And like Smitty was just saying, they have a quarterback by the name of Daniel, last name Jones, and he hasn't been up to par to speak. So you never know, man. Do you see the Giants staying put, or could they possibly listen to a few trade offers and move back to get more draft picks, as they only have 4 within the top 150?
To be honest, I can see them moving up. We talked about the
Mhm.
Chargers and the Cardinals, the Patriots. We can see them
Right.
move up for a quarterback as well.
Hey.
Because to me, Daniel Jones, yeah, he can make plays with his legs, but at the same time, I don't think he's a long term answer. And I think they paid him out of being nervous because um, if you look at what he's done the last 3 years, had been nice. And to
Right.
be honest, they really didn't upgrade by going out and getting Drew Lock. So
Hmm.
you got to be possibly looking at a younger guy, and both of those guys are young. That's the crazy part. Drew Lock and Daniel Jones are both young. I think they're both about 26, somewhere in that range.
Around that
So,
area.
and then you have to go out and
Crazy.
draft another guy who's about 23, 22, 23.
Right.
So we talking about guys you run the daycare at the quarterback position.
That's what
So
you're doing. That's all you do.
so
Let's see who can come in
and
and
to
beat.
be honest, if that's not going to happen, I can still see them trading up to go get a Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors. They really haven't had a guy at receiver since Odell Beckham Jr.
Nope,
left
not
about
since ODB.
I say about 5 years ago. So
Hey,
it'll
when
be
Odell
interesting to
came
see,
in, he
man.
turned heads, and that's what the
Right.
Giants they need. They need a guy who's going to come in there and be able to turn some heads, man. And possibly, I mean, if they want to give Daniel Jones an opportunity for the money, I completely understand. You paid
Right.
him, you want to get that investment out of it. You at least want to get him the playing time out there to show what he can do. You don't necessarily want guys coming in beating him out. But if Drew Lock comes in and possibly beats him out, or they draft a rookie and they come in and beats both of those guys out, it's gonna be real buyer's remorse on the Daniel. It's already buyer's remorse on Daniel Jones, but it's
Yeah,
gonna
because you don't give an unproven quarterback $40 million. That's just,
that's
and
tough.
to be honest,
Tough.
you set the minimum market at $40 million for Daniel Jones.
Daniel
Uh,
Jones.
and we crying
Thanks.
about Kirk Cousins getting $40 million, but I take Kirk Cousins over Daniel Jones every day, twice on Sunday. So
And I'm talking about, and that's coming straight off of injury. I would have took him before the injury, during the injury, and after the injury. Before Daniel Jones,
right,
I'm sorry. I am
right.
sorry. Y'all can say what y'all want to on that. I am sorry. Ain't no way in the world because haven't seen anything outside of running ability from Daniel Jones and shoot on a long run. He'll trip and fall over himself about that too. So I
Oh
mean, what?
yeah.
So I'm just saying, what am I getting from that guy?
Oh man.
So if I'm the Giants, I'm definitely going to go get me either a playmaker who can at least make Daniel look better, or I'm gonna go get somebody that's going to be Daniel's replacement, and that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. That 40 million, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Facts. Hey, Mike. I agree. 40 million is not a lot compared to what other quarterbacks are making, but I still don't
Mhm.
think he's worth that. I would have gave
Nah,
Baker Mayfield 40 million before I gave Daniel Jones 40 million. But
indeed, indeed, indeed.
and
M
shout out
Dub
to
too.
Daniel Jones' agent because he one hell of a talker. Because if he got Daniel Jones 40 million, he probably get me 60.
Man, what? I'm trying to tell you. Shout out to Miss Carey. Shout out what you doing. How you doing? Beasley, how you doing? How you doing? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat,
Ramaduze
man.
going to the Giants. I can see that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that as well. Now number seven. The number seven is kind of interesting just because I believe the Titans are going to have to wait and see what happens in front of them. They're just going to be sitting back waiting to see who drops, who gets taken. They really can go a couple of different routes themselves. They could get a wide receiver. They could. I know they just paid Calvin Ridley. What they still have
And they
with
still have
DeAndre
Traylon
Hopkins.
Burks and
They still got
Traylon
Hopkins
Burks.
too, right? Yeah, and Burks.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to get a wide receiver here. Deep draft. You can get something later on, but I do think they need a wide receiver later on. I think they possibly go offensive lineman here. Joe Alt possibly could be there. Um, um,
And I think that's the smart, safe pick, to be honest, because
right,
you lost Taylor Lewan. He's gone on the right side, the right tackle. I think he left too. So to get a bookend tackle to be there for 10 years, I think Joe Alt is a no-brainer pick, to be honest, because you got to protect Will Levis or Malik Willis or whoever back there. If you
right.
want to get those receivers the ball, you got to have that bookend left tackle. And I think Joe Alt, you know, I think that's the only option, to be honest.
Now the thing is, somebody could come up to 7 for the Titans, and they can possibly move back too. I didn't mention, but Tennessee only has 4 picks within the top 150, just like the Giants, just like the Bears. So they possibly could move on back if the right deal comes through. And for the Titans, um, honestly, that would probably be one of the best bets for Tennessee to move back and get more picks so they can
Yeah,
build around that young team. They got a new head coach. coordinators, everything. So I can see them possibly moving back. That actually be the best bet for them to actually move back seriously.
And those teams that we talked about, Broncos, Raiders, and Vikings, well, the Vikings are going to be in the top 5. But the Raiders and the Broncos, I could see them moving to number 7 because we've talked about Michael Penix to the Falcons for a little while now. So what if that end up surprisingly being the pick for the Falcons? Just think about that. So if somebody think the Falcons, possibility of the Falcons taking Michael Penix, they could jump the Falcons to number 7 with the Titans. And hey, who knows? It's gonna be all fisted then. Joy, you better be glad we're not on my page because you would get that boot.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm the Obama meme over here. I'm like, what's going on, man? About. I don't know, man. We always your friend,
I'm sure
man.
She'll text me and tell me sooner or later.
Right. I ain't, man. Hey, once we went live, I stopped looking at my phone. Sorry, I don't know what's going on myself.
Michael said the Titans should go defensive tackle. I could see it.
I can see that as well. I can
see it. Well. And one name that I'm looking at is Byron Murphy, man. He could go anywhere in the top 15 because he's one of those high impact type players.
We sorry we had went live. We had went live.
Man, it was just a spur of the moment.
Stitch, man. Y'all make sure y'all check her out, man. She does her thing. She's very creative. She does she creates all different type of things. Made me a shirt, made me a few shirts. Can't say a, but
she also does accessories too. Earrings, eyelashes.
She got all your stuff, man. She almost a damn one-stop shop. So shout out to Blink.
Pretty much,
man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so shout
out I'm trying to get her to do it full time so she can make some money.
You feel me? She should. She should. We both told her. But moving along, we finally made it to number 8. Our beloved, illustrious Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they have 6 picks. We already know within the top 150. We've already been saying trade back, move up, stay put. So many different things Atlanta can go with. So many different things they can do. Now, our GM is proven best player available. That's why I really want to prep everyone just in case if Rome Odunze is called at number 8.
And the whole city gonna catch on fire.
I just want to prepare everybody just in case something like if we don't move back, which is something that I want us to do. I know Smitty, you were saying move up a little bit, especially if Marvin Harrison gets overlooked. But I'm just saying,
yeah, if he falls to the charge at 5,
right?
Got to do it, man. I'm sorry, you said best player available. That's the best player available, and that's the same type situation we could be looking at like the last 3 years. Those offensive players that they took, they felt were the best players available, and if there's a wide receiver there, Marvin Harrison Jr., you got to think about moving up, make that move. Because we talked about number 3 to the Patriots months ago and how expensive that would be. Right. If you go down 2 spots to the Chargers at 5, that's only 3 spots up. So you possibly giving up a first, maybe a third and a fifth or something like that. So, I would definitely think about it. And you still got your first rounders next year. So I understand to go edge still at number 8. Yeah. But hey, it happens. And think about it. Well, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna drop a video about Bleacher Report. They did a mock trade, and I think it was a great trade. So y'all hold on for that. It should be out in probably about a little bit over an hour. So and trust me, y'all gonna love it.
Yeah, man, it's definitely another option. But I just want to prep because our GM, they really go best player available, and the best player available may not be an edge on the top board at that particular time. Yes, we need defense. Yes, I'm saying, hey, and go defense or just trade back for more picks is what I really want us to do. I really want to get more picks. Yeah, I want to be greedy. I'm sorry.
And honestly, I think the way their board is set up, I honestly think they have the top 3 quarterbacks at the top, and then they probably have Joe Alden number 4. One of the top receivers, 2 of the top receivers, the next 2 spots. So by the time we get to number 8, shit, the edge rushers probably in the 10 to 15 range on our board. Who knows? Even though it's a need, they probably have players ranked above these guys. Latu Latu, Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, they might have them in the 10 to 15 range. Who knows? And if they can trade back a couple of spots and still get one of those players and get more picks, they could possibly trade back up into the first round.
Yep.
And go get another person at the top of their board. So, I mean, it's options.
And then you got to think about this too, guys. He didn't do a pro day. Nobody knows what he possibly can do. People have sour grapes, have sour milk about it. If Marvin Harrison really is at 8, do y'all really think Terry Fontenot is going to say, "Oh no, I want Dallas Turner"?
Now, as soon as Tennessee picks Joe out and Marvin Harrison is on the board, they're gonna take him and match that redial button, send that card up there, and that's all it's gonna be. Because let's keep it real, best player available, and Marvin Harrison in a lot of people's eyes is the top prospect in this draft. And who in their right mind gonna pass that up?
And yeah, Jew, and Rome at 8.
Hey, Jew, we do need a defensive player and the best defensive player at number 8. I agree with that.
I do too.
At the same time, if they're telling you we wide open and this is exactly what we're gonna do, take the best player available. If Harrison is there, hell, if Malik Neighbors is there, you got to think about it. So, like I said, man, those edge rushers may be a top need, but where are they on the war room board when it comes to top prospects? That's all I'm saying.
And to this question right here with Dallas Turner, he's met with just about every team except for the Bears within the top 10. Like the Jets. I don't think he's met with the Jets. I haven't seen
the Jets or the Bears. So he done met with the top 8 teams.
He's met with just about everyone else.
Right.
So it's a possibility. This is the time where everybody is meeting with everyone because they want to see how much they like a guy. They want to do their due diligence to see, hey man, can this guy change our mind and change our locker room? You know, different things, different intangibles that they like about them. This is the time. This is the season. The draft is next week. Woo! But
you gotta think we don't went through combine. We don't went through pro days. We don't went through private workouts. So now they're in the second stage of meetings because they had meetings at the combine. But when you get another meeting after pro days, it's just totally different because they've actually seen what you could do. So let's just keep that in mind.
Got to keep it in mind. So I just want to say, hey, I do want the best defensive player. I do want to trade back, but we got to be prepared. If guys fall, our GM is going to get a little curious. Our GM possibly may add another offensive weapon, wide receiver for Kirk Cousins.
This is another reason why you shouldn't be surprised. The team that he built in New Orleans up under Drew Brees, he had Marcus Colston, who was the 7th round pick, Chris Olave, not Chris Olave, but Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, who was a 3rd round running back. He's always built a strong offense in New Orleans, even when they had Aaron Brooks. He built a pretty nice offense around Aaron Brooks.
Later round.
So he's going to keep adding pieces around Kirk Cousins at some point in this draft.
And one more little piece that you got to think about as far as the offense goes. We don't have a number 2, y'all. What you saw? I know the moves we made. We still don't have a number 2. Darnell Mooney, I love him. I actually love him now. At first, I was out on him. Did some more research. Looked at the fact that he really can.
He's a pretty decent receiver.
Yeah,
he just didn't have nobody to give him the football.
There you
go. He didn't have nobody to give him the football.
There you go.
You see what Dave Ragone did here? The same thing he did in Chicago. Nothing. Man,
so that's what I'm saying. We don't have a number 2. That's what I'm saying. And Daniel Mooney is not our number 2. Rondale Moore is not our number 2. Kendra Hodge is not our number 2. The list goes on and on as far as the receiver room. We really have a group of collective guys that will form into Voltron for our number 2.
Truth be told, Kyle Pitts is the number 2 target. Really, number 1 target. He's the
You
number
feel
one
me?
target. Drake London is the number 2 target. We're not going to say receivers. We're going to say targets
Targets, yeah,
because both of those guys are top targets. Um,
indeed. And people
so
not gonna like to hear that, but it's just the truth. It's
yeah,
just the truth. Okay, as much as we all love Drake London, right? Right? Okay.
right.
So let's go ahead and take Drake London off of this team and just fish him around the NFL. Is he a number one receiver on how many teams? How many teams is he a number one receiver? Is he a number one
Drake
receiver on the
London.
Bengals? Is he a number
Drake
one
London, I would
receiver?
say, mm, if I had to say one and I had to give a honest answer, I could only come up with Arizona.
See what I'm saying? What? Because you can't put him. What? Yeah, yeah. You really got to say Arizona. You can't. What? Maybe Jacksonville. But
Yeah,
you
you
really,
can see the Chargers as well though, because they lost
yeah, they don't
Keenan
have
Allen
anybody.
and Mike Williams, so they don't have anybody. So that
Indeed.
Cardinals and the Chargers could probably be a number one. But outside of that, come on, man.
Oh well,
The
here's
Bills,
one. Here's
the
one. This
Bills
is
don't
a
have
good
a
one.
number one receiver. So hey,
Buffalo,
yeah,
the good one from
on the
Tony.
right, yeah,
Buffalo,
that
right,
I was
right
just
now
thinking that.
after Diggs leaving, yes. After Diggs leaving, yes. But again, that's only a handful of teams that he can go to. If we switch positions with a different guy, where can Jamar Chase go? Anywhere. Justin Jefferson, anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah,
Okay, Devontae Adams, anywhere. So that's basically what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, he'll be a number one receiver in Denver too. Yeah, I agree with that.
oh yeah, Denver. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
Yeah, they
even.
traded
I ain't
Jerry
even
Judy.
think about Denver because I ain't even want to do him like that, sending him out there with Sean Payton. I ain't that dirty. Come on now. I can't. I can't send him to Denver.
Sean Payton don't like big receivers, no way. So
Anyway, he'll be shipped up out of there saying that he too slow
yeah,
to
he
run,
went last.
too low to the ball. He'll come up with an excuse. You know, Sean Payton out there. Yeah, it's no love lost down here for old shiny boy. But also let's not get off too far off track. Again, we've already said about the Bears. They had the first and the ninth. I feel like if they do trade, it's going to be the ninth pick. I've already said that once before. So if you don't have
And
anything else to say about the Bears,
one team,
okay.
I think I see draft moving up to
To the number 9.
number 9 spot from far back is possibly the Pittsburgh Steelers.
See, I was going to say the LA Rams
Well, I'm
at
going
19.
Pittsburgh mainly because I see Cam Hayward getting up there in age, and he's lost a step. So a guy like Byron Murphy, before he gets to the middle of the first round, I can see them going Byron Murphy, or I can see them going with a wide receiver as well. Because outside of Pickens, what do you have? You traded Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers, so they need a receiver as well.
That's true. That's true. Got a couple other ones coming through here. Shout out to Art Angel too, man. Where you been at, man? We ain't seen Holmes in a minute. Yeah,
And
man.
Art be moving around, man.
He do, man. He
Art be
do. He
moving
do.
around.
Indeed, indeed. Drake London be a number one receiver in New England as well.
Possibly. Yeah,
Possibly.
possibly.
And it all depends on who they draft as far as that goes as well. But my point is, though, we don't have a number 2. That's my point. We really don't have a number 2. Our number 1 receiver is Drake London, but we have a collection of guys making up our number 2, which is another reason why, even though it is a deep wide receiver draft, even though I'm like, no, not at number 8, it's a possibility we still may take one of those top guys in the receiver class at number 8. Same way how we did with the running back position and taking Bijan Robinson just last year.
Yeah.
Just saying, guys. What about the Jets?
We
Oh,
we only scored 19 points a game last year. So
right.
If we get another receiver and make this receiver core more electric, I wouldn't care, because if I can score 30 points a game, I take pressure off their defense. So and we all know the Falcons draft well on day 3. They find gems on day 3 somehow. So with guys like Darius Robinson, Dorless from Oregon, I mean, there's still Chris Braswell from Alabama. There's still edge rushers in this draft. So yeah. So
Vaughn Baker, just a lot of guys out there you can use, man. A lot of guys. And then
but with the Jets,
Yeah, number 10.
Jets gonna be Jets offensive line.
I think so too.
I'm looking at Fuaga at number 10.
Yeah, Fuaga.
Um, yeah, that's my pick at number 10 for them easily.
Yeah,
You
Fuaga,
got
because you definitely got to protect Aaron Rodgers, man. You
yeah,
cannot afford to lose him again anytime soon. The only way you need to lose him is when he, going for his retirement speech, if you will. But he can't
and
afford to.
ironically he had the same injury that Kirk Cousins has.
Ain't that
Both
something?
of both of them got Twizzlers for heel tabs. So you got to protect both of them, man. Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and what's funny, both of those guys come back. What if they both end up in the MVP conversation? Wouldn't that be some crap?
That would be something. That would be something. And then another thing that may be crazy in the MVP conversation, but wouldn't it be funny? Just funny if both quarterbacks take their team to a top 3 seed. One, that'll
Yeah.
be another funny thing too. Got both two guys both coming off Achilles injury, running the league like that at their age. That'll be something else.
And both of their strengths are at the same spots on defense. Defensive line, defensive back.
Yeah.
Both of their strengths on defense. You have Grady Jarrett and Onyemata here in Atlanta. And you have Quentin Williams and his brother, I think his name is Jay Williams in New York. So
Jermaine Johnson. He just went
Jermaine
and got
Johnson as well.
Just went and got Reddick. Lost Huff and went and got Reddick. So I mean they went and retooled.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
And I actually like those throwback uniforms. Those things that's what I grew up on in the 80s with the white face mask.
Right.
And the green jerseys. Yeah, that's what I grew up on in the 80s and 90s.
3 Dirty had this question for us. Is Drake London a true number 1 wide receiver with 4 or 5 speed or a number 1 possession receiver?
I think he fits more of a possession receiver.
Hello,
Mainly because I see a number 1 receiver as a game breaker. Run out to the catch guy. He can catch the ball anywhere on the field and take it to the house. There's no knock to Drake. He just has a bigger frame than a normal wide receiver. A guy I'm looking at is probably about 5'11", 6 feet. Somebody like a Garrett Wilson who's in New York. Somebody like that. So it's no knock to Drake. I just think he's a better possession receiver because of his size. Other than Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss, who both had 4.3 speed.
Right.
Who else can you just name just somebody that size as a number 1 or as a game breaking receiver besides Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson? And it might be more out there because I know Larry Fitzgerald was about 6'3".
Yeah.
But to me, he was an exception because he was a possession receiver and a game breaker. So it's just me. It's just me.
Julio had that 4.3.
Yeah, he was a freak of nature though. That's the difference.
Another anomaly.
Freak of nature and regular wide receiver is just different. Freak of nature, like you said, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, guys of that nature. Hell, even DK Metcalf. So if you don't find one of those, you got to get a guy. Rice. Yeah, 4, 5, 6 in the 40. Yep.
But he had at the end. Jerry had great football speed, deceptive football speed that really, honestly, Jerry Rice made it seem like everything was a farce when it came to running 40s because he definitely moved more than 4 or 5.
One thing about Rice too,
Drake
man,
doesn't have that top speed for me.
And it's not all about speed. It's sometimes about preparation. Because Dion, a guy that ran a 4.2 in some 40s, him and Jerry Rice, they had some of the greatest battles ever. And to see a guy that runs a 4.56 take on a guy that runs a possible 4.2, it was just a sight to see. And Jerry Rice, sometimes he would school Dion, and that came with preparation and studying the way your opponent plays the game. And sometimes that's all it takes. Because Terrence Mathis, another guy, came over from the Jets in the early 90s via free agency, and he ended up being one of the best receivers in Falcons history. Before he got to Atlanta, he was struggling in New York. I'm going to keep it real. He was struggling in New York. But when he got his chance, he made the best of it. And sometimes that's all you have to do. Miss Christie, how you doing?
Yeah,
But yeah,
terrific
that's
Tuesday. I love the energy. It's a terrific Tuesday. That's what I'm talking
facts.
about, man. 128 people in here, man. Shout out to everyone who is listening and viewing this stream and this Falcons content that we're delivering. The 95 North Sports Machine. I am Chris Tipmore along with Smitty and Twan Smitty 10K, Smitty 10K. And of course, we are just missing our brother Berto. Again, check him out on Bleacher Report as well, man. This has been right here a top 10 Tuesday. Really, we want to think about it as we were
Yeah.
been going over the top 10 teams and who could possibly shake up this NFL draft. And to be honest with you, when you really get to the bottom of it and at the bottom of that cup, you get to it and you look at it, anybody in this top 10 can really shake it up.
And not only
Or,
the first round,
yep,
the top, I would say the top 10 teams in the second round, if they have enough draft capital, they can move back up into the first round and get a first round talent.
there you
And
go.
the Falcons could be one of those teams.
Falcons can
Say
definitely
like
be one of
if we take an edge rusher at number 8, or we trade back and take an edge rusher, why not use that extra pick that we got, move back into the first round, and possibly get, who knows, another cornerback, another receiver, as we talked about, possibly another offensive lineman to play that right tackle position. Who knows? It could happen.
It can definitely happen. And I know we got guys. Go back to your point real quick about back to the Falcons, because it's still about the home team, about the logo. Moving back to them real quick. About Ladd McConkey, I would love to have Ladd McConkey. I just don't know why. I feel like if he does make it out of the first round, like let's say we don't try to move back up into the first round. If he doesn't make it out, I believe he goes early second. I don't think he's going to make it to like 43 or around in that capital to where we can get like to 38. I think if he's there at 38, I think we possibly may try to pull a trigger to try to get up to 38. But I don't think we're going to move.
That's always our range.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Arnold Ebiketie and Troy Bergeron. I think he was a little bit before that. I think he was like 34.
Yeah, Bergeron. I think he was a little bit before that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just so many, and I keep telling y'all, for some reason, I just think the Chiefs are going to take a wide receiver at 32. Don't know who it's going to be, and I think, to be honest, if Xavier Worthy is on the board for the Chiefs at 32, that's Tyreek Hill type talent. Somebody that can stretch the field, somebody with track and field speed. They haven't had Tyreek in 2-3 seasons.
Right.
It's a reincarnation of Tyreek Hill with Xavier Worthy.
Indeed, that speed is crazy. Now he doesn't have the size, of course. He's not a stocky guy.
He's only 6'1", about 190. So,
yeah,
but Tyreek Hill wasn't that big. So, but he had the right build.
Mm-hmm.
So,
he did, man. He did. I would love to see those two go at it in one of those friendly races, man, on the football field. See who can outlast the other man. Maybe a 40, maybe 40-yard, 100-yard. We'll see. Hey, but Michael says Worthy needs to sit a year and eat.
Yeah, protein shakes.
Oh man, yeah, shit, he gonna need more than some protein shakes, my dog. But the thing about a guy with that type of speed, and I gotta go with an example from basketball, talking about a guy like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant really never tried to hit the weight room for one reason only. He didn't want to have the possibility of throwing off his shot, throwing off his game. Yep. As we already know, building muscle is heavier than fat. And when you're building muscle, it can throw off some things because you're stronger now in these areas, maybe weaker in some others. So for Xavier Worthy, him putting on pounds may not be the best thing for him in the NFL, because it may take away from some of his ability to be, that speed guy. Now, if he wants to be more than just a speed guy, which is, I would want to be more than just a speed guy, just because it'll be longevity. You possibly could have to dial back some of that speed, get some girth on you, and get a better route tree, and then go from there. Because I just see Xavier taking like one big hit from one of these grown men, and I just don't know.
You got to think too. Look at Devontae Smith, who just got paid yesterday. He's not the biggest guy either. He's actually he's about 6'1". He's about When he got into the league, he was on the 175.
Yeah, I
So
think
he's
he
in
put
that
on
same
some pounds.
ballpark. So
Yeah, he put
it's
on.
really about how you move on the field. Just don't set yourself up to get hurt. That's all I got to say. Just don't set yourself up.
Yo, what's
Yeah, the
going
Achilles
on?
ball. Yeah,
Atlanta Dog, the Achilles Bowl next year, Jets versus Falcons. Hey, you know what? Sign me up, because guess what? I know a team that's in there, the Falcons. That's all I care about.
yeah. Tony, right? I agree, man. Jane Lawson with that dude, man. He wasn't very big either. And when he got to Buffalo at an older age, he was still moving around pretty good. So it's not really all about size. Sometimes it's all about skill. If you can move around the field, find open holes in the defense, you'll be fine.
ATL Focus says, going outside of the right move, who would y'all want to see in Atlanta? That's a
Oh,
great
I already
question.
said it. Marvin Harrison, all
Yeah,
day long.
Marvin Harrison. Marvin
Marvin
Harrison.
Harrison,
Marvin Harrison, if you're
no
listening,
doubt
we need
about
you
it.
to fall for Smitty. Smitty wants you to fall to Atlanta. If
And
I had to
I'm gonna tell
choose,
you, man, the main reason why is I
uh,
look at what Kirk Cousins did with Justin Jefferson in
yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah.
I think he brings that same type ability that Justin Jefferson brings. A guy that can high point the ball, a guy that can run every route on the route tree, run after the catch. Anything you can name, Marvin Harrison, Justin Jefferson can do that.
If it's me, hey,
Brock
well, first of
Bowers,
all,
only way I would
listen,
take Brock Bowers is if I'm trading Kyle Pitts. And I'm not
yeah,
trading 6'6",
and I'm
250. I'm sorry.
Nah, I don't want to trade Kyle Pitts. And the main reason why at this point, Kyle Pitts is an NFL veteran at this point, regardless, right? And he's
Right.
seen more, he understands more schemes and everything, I would think, than Brock Bowers would. And honestly, I don't want to trade Kyle Pitts because I I just haven't gotten enough out of him. I just haven't seen enough of him. And this year, I believe when they, you know what I'm saying, let Mikael Pruitt go, or Jonnu Smith down in with the Dolphins. So when
Right.
those moves, it cleared up for Kyle Pitts. These moves were to clear up for Kyle Pitts. And I think it was great moves. And as far as who I want to see on the team, the person who I want to see won't even be there. And that's Jaden Daniels. That's who I wanted to see on the team.
Yeah, he gonna be long gone.
Yeah, he gonna be long gone. So outside of the right move, in order for something like that to happen, something crazy would have to happen. Something that we know our GM is not
They
going
had
to
to
do.
mortgage the future and a key
Yes,
player.
something that we know our GM is not going to do, and I don't want him to do it. So that's my player who I wanted. I wanted Jaden Daniels overall, over anybody in this draft, to be honest. So that's the guy for me. I know Marvin Harrison. That's a great one too, because I wouldn't mind him in Atlanta, because I remember what he was doing. I was having a conversation with Big Low actually the other day, and we was talking about it, how CJ Stroud was doing with Marvin Harrison against that Georgia team. And if Marvin Harrison doesn't go out, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I
And it
think Georgia
also,
loses that game
man, I'm
because
telling you,
you have a future starter in CJ Stroud who tore up the NFL last year, and you have a receiver who's probably going to tear up the NFL in the right system this year. So yeah, and Waters Campbell, I agree. When you throw in the quarterback factor, that's why Kyle Pitts has produced. And you think about it, he played at 75-80% last year. He was still recovering from knee surgery most of the year. So that's why you didn't see the long strides. You could see him limping down the field on certain routes. So
then ain't no point of me running out there if I know I'm not getting the ball. The ball's not coming accurate, or the ball may come to me, but I may possibly get re-injured. It's a lot that goes into it, because it's a mental thing too. I don't want to go out there and possibly be at the risk of getting hurt because of a bad throw or inaccuracy. No thanks. So,
facts.
and then we also learned that he was dealing with multiple injuries in that same leg, not just one. So that's another thing too that you got to take under consideration.
Facts.
Definitely,
But
man.
before we get out of here, man, couple more questions and we're gonna roll. We almost at the 1 hour mark. So we're gonna go to about 105 and we're gonna roll.
Say, if Troy A moved to defensive end, should we go with the receiver? And he's talking about Troy Anderson.
I don't think he'll go full time at defensive end. The way I was putting it in my video, I could see him as a rotational piece inside and outside. because of the way Nate Lamon brought it on last year. Had a great year. Should have been a Pro Bowl in my opinion. Then you have Caden Ellis, who's more of a pass rusher. He could play inside or outside, but most of his sacks come from up the middle, blitzing up the middle. So if you move a guy who's 6'4", 240 to edge rushing position, I think he will have to learn that position because he's really still learning the middle linebacker position. That would be the only downfall of Troy Anderson moving outside. Can he do it? Absolutely. But him studying to play the position would probably be the key to him moving. But if you rotate him in and out from middle to outside, I think that makes more sense than just making him a full-time edge rusher.
Right. Jew Talk Sports says, who would y'all take, Turner versus or Latu? For me, it's going to be Latu. Honestly, for me, how the
Same here.
ranking goes is Latu versus and then Turner. I know a lot of people may be like, what? But hey, man, that's where it's going for me. And I think verse just because of something that Big Low said when he went to go visit Florida State himself, and just how hard they work down there. They work
Right.
differently from anywhere else he said that they've been. And that registered to me because I'm just like, I know for a fact Lowe has been to different colleges on his tour, you know what I'm saying? So I just see it and I'm just like, that's interesting to me that you've been to different places, different colleges, universities, seeing how they do it on the football field and being a
Right.
former football coach himself and see that, hey, Jared Verse, nobody's working harder than Jared Verse because he's coming from Florida State. So that's another thing too. But I like
And
Latu overall.
if you remember some of the Florida State players from the past, sort of like Derrick Brooks, even though Charlie Ward didn't get drafted, I
Deion
still
Sanders.
think he had a great work ethic. Deion Sanders, Warwick Dunn, who was a former Falcon. I can go on and on. Peter Warwick, even though he didn't last in the league, I think he could have been an exceptional player. And I go way further back than that. Tamarick Vanover. He played for the Chiefs back in the day. He was a Florida State receiver. Lavernius Coles. I can just keep going on and on.
Oh, goodness, boy. Woo! You went back with that name right there. I used to like Lavernius Coles, man. I thought he was going to be better than what he was, but I know things happen.
But he still had an exceptional career, man.
He
Even
did.
though
He did.
he wasn't what he was at Florida State, which you knew what he could grow out to be. I still think he had an exceptional career, especially with the Jets. He played very well.
Yeah, he played well with the Jets, man. Shout out to Lavernius Coles, man. We got a Lavernius Coles sighting on the show today. That's something else right there. Let me see what we got.
We got one more question from Tony Wright, and we're gonna roll.
All right, fellas, do either of you think that with the new coaching staff, the outside linebacker D'Angelo Malone's talents will finally show, and he would be the 3-4 outside linebacker rotation, a lot getting sacks, and he did in college? Yes, I do think so. I think this is the time.
Possible.
I think it's the time,
possible.
man. He
because
was drafted
he's a
for the
natural
3-4 scheme.
He's a natural 3-4 outside linebacker, so
Right.
he would actually fit in this system. The reason why I don't think he put in the effort, well, he didn't. I'm not gonna say didn't put in the effort. The reason why I don't think he was used is because Ryan Nielsen like bigger defensive ends, and he's not, size wise, he's only 6'3", about 240, so 235. Let me get it right, 235. So in that aspect, size is what kept him out the lineup last year. And like I said, games that we played against Minnesota with Josh Dobbs, Arizona with Kyler Murray, those are the times that D'Angelo Malone needed to be on the field. Period.
Agreed. Shoot, you can even say this too against Bryce Young too, just because he was
Bryce
a mobile
Young
quarterback.
Right.
And we lost that game without them even scoring a touchdown. A touchdown. Like that right there was just crazy for me. I don't even want to take y'all Falcons
5 days on the team, and he still beat us. That was some utter bullshit. I'm gonna just keep it real.
It was inexcusable, and just like Smitty said, grade A bullshit. So, with that being said, man, guys, this has been a wonderful live, man. I'm glad that you guys came in, tapped in. If you just coming in or came in late, make sure you go back to the beginning so you can catch the beginning of this. whole conversation that turned out to be an hour conversation or over an hour conversation. So this is great, and it's because of you guys. We thank you so very much. Smitty, man, let the folks know where they can find you. And you
They
ain't a
can
hard
find me
man to
on
find.
Twitter, man. Nah, they can find me on Twitter at fatboyslam_21, or find me on YouTube, Smitty Sports Machine. And those of y'all that are tuning in on my page, please go to A1 Forever, man, on YouTube. Help him get to 1,000. He just passed 700. So help him
Yes.
get up to 1,000, man, so he can go on and get that get that money. And YouTube will actually push the videos out a little bit more. So please go help him out, man. And tomorrow, mock draft Wednesday. I'm gonna be on with Chris, Big Low, Birdo, and whoever else comes through. We're gonna do a mock draft. We're gonna have a good time, and trust me, when we do mock draft, we just do them just a little bit different because we add the foolishness, but we also add the numbers and the facts.
Gotta keep it informative, but gotta keep it fun. That's what it's all about, man. Just like Smitty said, y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. And I just want to send a personal message to each and every person that comes across this live or come across any video. I just want to let you guys know, find your peace today. I want everyone to find their peace today. Positive energy always creates elevation. So please, you know what I'm saying, for me and for yourself, more importantly, find your peace today.
Facts.
Now, be generational because it's always time to be. And until next time, guys, come on back to the show that's cool and fly 2 and A1 Forever Sports. Make sure you slide on over to Smitty 10K, as I'm pretty sure he's going to got maybe 1 or 2 more videos that will be dropped today, as he's always working. Salute to you,
man.
My brother. I've been checking
I got some tricks up my sleeve, man. We a little bit over a week away from the draft, so we're gonna keep working hard all the way up until that day. And trust me, join us draft night, because I'm gonna be on somebody's show. Don't know who it's gonna be.
Moving around,
I'm gonna be talking NFL draft night 1, so y'all be there.
Indeed, man. Well, guys, again, shout out to each and every one of you, man. Peace and blessings to you guys. And until next time, man, as our brother Berto will say, we're going to give you your Tuesday back. And next time, peace and blessings to you. We will holler.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Giant.